the topic that I've chosen for this particular webinar is the changing trends in sales recruitment and how we are going to cope up with that. Recruitment in general has been an issue I would not say an issue, has been something burning in the last 1 year, taking into account a lot of resignations, the great resignation that went through, offers, counter offers, countering the counter offer. So a position was open, kept unfilled from a long time, and there were a lot of impact, a lot of reason why this happened. So as a team, we were just analyzing where are things moving, and we thought there should be something that should be addressed, and it will be great to have a lot of insights from a bigger audience and from friends in the industry. So I've just said what we are going to speak the next 45 minutes. So quickly giving you an intro about myself. Okay. So as CR just mentioned, myself, Aruna, and I've been heading the delivery practice, recruitment practice at Sales and Profit. I've been working in the IT industry for close to 10 years now, and the last 5+ years have been predominantly in hiring for B2B sales professionals in most of the IT sector. To just name a few: telecom, CPaaS industry, cybersecurity, cloud practice, managed service practices. So as mentioned, I currently lead the recruitment vertical here and majorly engage in the mid-senior and leadership hiring. Okay. Yeah, so this is going to be something that is going to keep coming in the next set of webinar in the next 40 minutes for us. So I wanted to discuss how is the workforce of the future going to be. This impact we've already been seeing in the last 1 year, saying that, the people whom we are addressing now currently are a different set of people. The traditional Gen X people, we've already moved over, and they are definitely moving out of the corporate, and we are going to welcome a lot more millennials and Gen Z in the upcoming era. So saying that, what are the skill sets that we are going to see in the future workforce? They are more analytical in thinking. They are being more creative. A lot of multi-skill set people who want to see a lot more challenges. They have this entrepreneurship quality in them. So they are not going to settle for anything less. So just summarizing that here, we will have people who are more creative, more original, more innovative, and taking a lot of initiatives and bubbling with a lot of energy. So how is the world of tomorrow? It's going to shift towards a lot of innovation, and to exactly attract this type of people to us, we have to position ourselves as an adaptable, flexible top employer, and that is how we are going to attract the next set of companies, next set of employees for us. Just to keep the flow of the webinar going, if at all there is any query, you have any observation beyond this, I will be happy to see it on the chat here and address it one by one. Okay. So just as we discussed, definitely the pre-COVID and post-COVID situation have really changed. Just bringing out a few of the hurdles that we must have been seeing as a recruiter, as a hiring manager. I've just mentioned a few of them, which personally we have been observing. And I'll ask Lijo to launch a poll here so that we can mutually understand what is the most common hurdle that we as a hiring fraternity have been facing. And it's a burning issue right now. Lijo, can you please help me with the poll? And I would be happy to have a lot of participation here.
Yeah, the poll is live. You all can participate.
I hope you guys are busy with the poll. Just to answer what Swaroop has just asked me. Thank you, Swaroop. You have noticed the calendar. 7, 17, and 26. There is no major intent on the calendar as such, but it was very catchy and very jovially. My observation is the future workforce is going to be full of millennials and Gen Z. So generally in our calendars, we have the Saturday, Sunday marked as a week off or something. Then probably the adaptability and flexibility in working will be changing in the next 3 years. I guess something like that should be the intent of that colors. If you have a better explanation for this, I'll be happy to know from you. Yeah, Arjun.
So we'll end the poll. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Lijo. You can please publish the result for me.
Yeah, sure. So we have 10% saying that selling the opportunity, 5% is saying that time to hire, 35% is saying that access to top talent, and again 35% says that offer rejection dropouts, and the 15% is hiring process.
Got it. Okay. Okay, so this offer rejection, has been one of a top issue, burning issue for most of us as a sales recruiter ourselves. We also had the same issue since 1 year now. The insights that I'm going to share here are personally from our observations, which we think can help in overcoming this issue. So since offer rejections have topped and also the access to top talent, I'll try to address these two issues first. So offer rejections have mainly happened because the industry incidentally, impulsively opened out a lot of opportunities, and a lot of talent, we just knocked on their doors with a lot of opportunities, and they had a lot of time to address which opportunity. They started evaluating us. It is not about us evaluating them anymore, and this norm is going to stay. This particular prospect candidate is also going to evaluate us. So what happened is, at one point of time, a candidate was juggling with 3-4 offers, and let us just see what must have helped him or her to take up an offer and leave the next. So more than seeing what compensation is offered, definitely compensation and paycheck is something that a candidate will definitely look into. But beyond that, a candidate evaluates the brand that he's going to get associated with. How was the entire hiring process? That the feel of the hiring process and the hiring experience now means a lot to a candidate. So the role of a hiring manager has moved beyond being just an interviewer. Saying that if we have the practice of calling a candidate and telling him or her, hey, this is the role I have, this is my company, are you willing? Then tomorrow we have an interview. That is not going to create an impact. Now we have been seeing that a lot of hiring managers are open to have discovery calls with a candidate. So when we say discovery call, it is an exploratory call where you induce interest in a candidate, bring him for an exploratory call with your hiring manager, where the hiring manager is not going to evaluate the candidate, but is going to position your company, position the role to a candidate, where a candidate gets more insight about your company and is able to evaluate us properly. So a hiring experience starts from there. And when I say mentor and a manager, from there, this prospect candidate will not look at the hiring manager as an interviewer, but will start getting a feeler that this particular person who will be working with him and with whom he'll be reporting to will actually handhold him in this process. He'll start looking at the hiring manager or interviewer as a mentor for him, will start getting that adaptability towards your company. And yeah, as I mentioned, although your paycheck and the branding is brand of a company is definitely going to impact a candidate's decision, but 50% of his decision also relies upon what kind of hiring experience he went through with this particular company. Did he get constructive feedback after each interview? Was there proper communication the SPOC or the hiring manager was giving him? Incidentally, all these things also matter a lot before he chooses us. And when it comes to access to top talent, which also topped our hurdles, Okay, somewhere we have been observing that a job role is become very generic. When we say generic, it just talks about a job description and what is the role that is being offered to a candidate. If at all we include something called as ideal candidate profile in a job description, that talks about who is an ideal candidate for this company, for my team, who will culturally fit me, what are the soft skills that this person should have, what is the technical quotient that this person should have, ideally what kind of target segment he should be coming from. So if a JD has this ideal candidate profiling in it, it makes a lot of sense to a person who is going to see that JD and come back to us. Because if the JD is generic, any XYZ candidate who is going to look at it will definitely start feeling that I'm also a right fit for this company. So an ideal candidate profile should be very important, and it can make a difference. And yeah, mapping the market and understanding the different brands in our stage, which is hiring. Is our compensation up to the market standard, or are we lagging there? Because definitely that creates a lot of interest in a candidate. And social media handles, currently the current generation of people are social savvy, so branding of our company in the social media is actually the need of the hour. So it is not about just posting a job on LinkedIn, but demonstrating the culture of your company, the growth of your company, what success means to employees of your company, also creates a lot of awareness in a section of candidate whom you feel is going to be a top talent in the industry. Yeah. And just to address shortly on selling the opportunity and time to hire, which have also been hurdles for most of us. Selling the opportunity again, the ideal candidate profile, which we just spoke about, and creating that ideal candidate profile, we will, as recruiters and sources, we will understand which particular candidate we have to speak to, which is the sourcing ground from where we have to pull him or her, and creating an elevator sales pitch. We, instead of talking randomly about the role that we have, try to sell your role, try to sell our company, try to sell our brand, create awareness about the brand, bring him for an exploratory call with your hiring manager. So the selling is a key at every stage of the hiring now. So time to hire is actually a collaborative effort. From the time a position is open until it's being filled, we know that it's a very long process. So first, the person, a recruiter who is supporting the hiring manager, should understand what is the need behind the hire, what is the need behind the business for this hire. On that note, we'll be easily able to understand from where are we going to source. And beyond that, let us sit with the hiring manager and understand who is the ideal candidate. 100% ideal candidate doesn't exist for every requirement. So let us understand which is the right fit for this team right now, and what impact this hire is going to bring. When we start doing this ideal candidate profile process, right, instead of attracting 100 applicants and uh, putting a lot of effort in screening them, definitely the time involved is too high. We will be attracting 10 to 15 applicants, out of which one hire should be apparently easier than looking at a large variety of people. And as hiring managers, I think we all run on our own targets and KPIs. It definitely makes sense when we prioritize this particular hiring and give some time, give some timelines to ourselves to close that hire and look at a right hire. So prioritizing this hiring from a hiring manager point of view is actually very, very necessary. And number three, again, for time to hire, um, mapping your market, creating the brand awareness is actually a strategy. We have to use a lot of recruitment strategies and marketing strategies to create awareness about your brand. As I have kept mentioning, the next Gen Z and millennials are social savvy. So before we are going to talk to them, they are going to do all their research about us and try to evaluate us before they are going to speak to us. So let us make use of most of the social handles. As per my knowledge, beyond LinkedIn, Facebook is closely competing with LinkedIn now in creating brand awareness. This is just as a point of view, I thought of sharing with you. These are few insights from our own observations and our own experience that I thought of sharing with you. I'll be very happy in case you want to add any more points here for us.
Aruna, we have one question
Yeah,
from
I'm
this
just
chat.
here. I think Mr. Arjun Sharma. Am I right, Lijo? Or am I missing out on any more chat?
No, it's Arjun. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Arjun. I missed to see your question. What can a company do to attract and retain the Gen Z folks? I will be covering this in the upcoming slides, but just to give a an overview of this, as mentioned before, the Gen Z is going to look for. They are not going to settle for anything less. They are people who are hyperactive. They are looking for a lot of challenges in their new role, and they are trendsetters, right? So they are looking for an organization which can keep updating their trends, keep updating their values and missions and purposes, and as I've kept mentioning, social savvy. They want organizations which are driven by some purpose, which whom this Gen Z folks can orient themselves. They see them everywhere, so definitely all of these things are going to add value. I hope I addressed your question, Arjun. If at all you have anything to tell me and give me any more suggestions, I'll be happy to look at it. Thank you so much. Okay, just moving to my next slide. Since we are talking about time to hire and what a hiring manager is looking at the current folks, this is a global survey which is from LinkedIn, where we can see what are the top 5 priorities when it comes to hiring from a hiring manager's point of view. So as per the graph, we can see that globally 52% of hiring managers are completely involved in improving their quality of hire, saying that they are okay to compromise on time, but looking at an ideal hire for their company, which really makes a lot of sense. Closely followed by 24% at increasing the retention rate. We have been seeing how crazy the market has been the last 1 year or so. We know how the access to top talent is becoming a big issue for us. On that note, it really takes a lot of effort to identify that one particular or few particular people in your team who are really going to add value to us. So it should be making sense to create a role for them where they find growth and other opportunities where you feel you can retain this talent. Closely followed by 23% of hiring managers themselves telling us that they want to improve their time to hire, because definitely a delayed hire is going to create a lot of loss in the business. May it be from development team and sales, which is going to create a bigger impact. So time to hire improvisation is something that even hiring managers are closely looking at. And 22% of hiring managers are hooked to look at growing their talent pipeline. So generally, what happens is, we get into hiring mode when there is an urge to hire. When there is an urge to hire, we go ahead and look at all places, and there definitely all of us work on very strict timelines to hire, and we end up sometimes getting a bad hire. And the cost involved in getting a bad hire and going overall, again, publishing, getting people, going through the interview process is going to be a little strenuous. So definitely a growing talent pipeline where we always have an eye for budding talents. It's okay to keep them active in your pipeline. Probably your hiring manager or management can create a role for them and you can bring them in. So let us keep our talent pipeline growing. That is what the hiring manager also is looking at. And 22% of hiring managers are looking at diversity in hiring. So diversity in hiring actually is no more about having female and male counterparts in a team, but it is more moving towards having a diverse skill set in the team. People with the same competencies, beyond having people with the same competencies or similar set of skill sets in a team, it makes a lot of sense to see what is the skill set gap in your team, in the organization, and try hiring for diverse skill sets so that the productivity becomes much better. And this is what hiring managers are also prioritizing. Yeah, as I mentioned, this is a LinkedIn global survey, and to me, it made a lot of sense, and I hope the audience is also getting certain kind of information from these slides. Okay. So since we were discussing about recruitment, the challenges, I request Lijo to share a poll here. I come from a sales recruitment background. Just thought of checking with my participants here. Um, what do you think sales hiring is different, or is it similar to the other hirings that we are doing? I'd appreciate more participation so that we can keep this discussion going. Yeah, Mr. RD, I'm sorry, I'm not getting your name here. You've just mentioned here that there is one possible solution for all of these. I'll be very happy to know that, so that all of us can learn from you. You know, what is the probable solution that we can adapt to? I'll be happy to connect with you beyond this webinar also for the same.
I'm closing the poll. I'll share the results.
Sure.
So we have 90% saying yes and 10% saying no.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lijo. Thank you, all of you. I think I agree that sales hiring is going to be really different. Um, and then I understand most of us present here have been a part of sales hiring team or sales leaders who are hiring for their team. So few observations from my end why I feel sales hiring is different is most of the high performing sales talents are very passive. I agree most of the talents are passive, but when it comes to sales, because a salesperson is someone who brings business to your organization, a salesperson is responsible for bringing revenue, who takes care of the P&L of the company. And somewhere when a plus talent or when a top talent is oriented with a brand, his network with a set of people, has understood what is going to be his go to market with this particular product or service line, somewhere he or she becomes a little comfortable where they are. And it's very tricky to create interest in them to look at us as a next possible uh, company, as a prospect company. And yeah, since we are talking about salespeople, we are all aware that we are going to sell this role, sell our organization to a salesperson already. So a salesperson, I generally feel a sales DNA is a deal is not done the same day. So they always are not impulse. So as a DNA, I feel they are not very impulsive in taking decisions. They are very rational. They want to know some intricate details, why they have to look at it, what are their options here, who is going to hire them, who will all the market strategies that they have been doing, how successful are they going to be with the next company they are going, and how is the manager here, will I be as successful as I've been here, will I be able to drive the same revenue that I've been doing here. So there is a lot of details he or she wants to look at. And just like the other roles that we hire for, we have even got these assessment tools to assess sales candidates, a psychometric test for sales candidates, which is a one pager, which can analyze a sales guy's IQ, his emotional quotient, his technical quotient. But beyond all these things, only when we speak and when we allow a salesperson to speak and brag about himself a lot, we try to understand about what was the closest deal that he did, what was his achievement, what was the impact about it, what was the loss that he faced while doing a sales. So most of these, when he talks about, will actually and when we listen deeply, probably it will help us to analyze and take a proper decision about if this particular sales candidate can fit into what we are actually speaking to him about. Okay. So since we say that accessing top talent in sales is going to be tricky, salespeople orient themselves a lot towards marketing strategies. So recently, the recruitment marketing strategies have also caught up with the industry. So recruitment marketing strategy doesn't stop about posting about our role or organization on a LinkedIn, but it has gone beyond that. Recruitment marketing strategy is keeping abreast with all your current company trends, your demonstrating how as a company you have been growing, demonstrating a lot about your company culture, the success story of your current sales employee. What is the challenge that they faced? How is the management helping them and working with them, alongside them? How is your current sales team being successful in their roles? And definitely they will be evaluating about your brand in the social media. And When you start advertising and demonstrating more about yourself as a transparent organization, I guess we'll be able to pull a lot of sales candidates instead of pushing our roles to them. Okay. So beyond this pull push strategy, someone evaluating us, this is a mindset gap that we've been seeing in the last 1 year. I hope I'll be addressing Mr. Arjun Sharma once again here. Thanks for your query there about the Gen Z and millennials. As mentioned before, the workforce is going to be full of Gen Z and millennials in around the next 3 years, 4 years. Already we have millennials there in the industry. What are they evaluating in a company? Although I'll be covering it here, I'll be happy to see few of your observations in the chat room also. So the first thing when we approach the current workforce is they evaluate us why they should choose you when they have a similar brand, or when they have a similar person hiring in the market. So what helps them doing this evaluation? So they want to understand how adaptable we are as an organization. So adaptability, all of a sudden flexibility in working from remote, flexible working hours became a norm. But adaptability is going beyond that flexibility. We recently saw that Swiggy has become a trendsetter in allowing or in encouraging, I would say encouraging is the right word, in encouraging their employees to take up a job beyond their jobs with Swiggy, or someone to pursue the passion. So definitely when I guess Swiggy somewhere related with the current trends of Gen Z or millennial people, and are trying to adapt to that trend. So this is just going to be the beginning, and we'll be seeing few more companies coming this way. Talking about Swiggy, it was just an example, but that there are a lot of situations when an employee or when a Gen Z is looking at a prospect employer in knowing if they are adaptable to the current situations, or are they still traditionally oriented towards, or they still have any traditional mindset in assessing their employees and in encouraging their employees. And they also want to see if as an organization you are purpose driven. So when I say purpose driven, the purpose is a cause. They want to see if the company they work for is oriented towards a cause. This cause can be anything related to environment. The current LGBTQ has actually caught up with a lot of us, the Gen Z and millennial being the trendsetters there. So they want to see if the organization is driven by some purpose other than just their service and product portfolio. Because when they join you, they will be happy to see like-minded people in this organization with whom they can connect, and this helps them to become more productive in their work, and they'll definitely try to stick for a long time with an organization. And Gen Z being Gen Z, they'll come out to be a lot more innovative and creative when we are going to give them space to explore more than a 9 to 6 year. And as mentioned before, they are looking for a lot of challenging work. They are not looking at at a work which is designed workflow and they have to work alongside that, but they are looking for more challenges in this work, to explore a lot of more rational possibilities here, to showcase their talents and a lot of learnings, upskilling, and quickly try to achieve a lot of things. So they want a company which will allow them a lot of flexibility and adaptability. In case I've missed out on any mindset gap which my friends here have been observing, I'll be happy, and all of us will be happy to understand it over the chat. And in case you have any queries for me also, please feel free to drop it in the chat for me. Okay, so this might be a little interesting for us. This is a global recruitment statistics, which is again published together by LinkedIn and Gartner. As we've been talking about the workforce, 75% of the global workforce by 2025 is going to be full of millennials, saying that we are already seeing that Gen X people going out of slowly moving out of the corporate workforce, and it has already been filling with the millennials. And Gen Z have also made their lateral entry here. 53% of Gen Z are looking to be freelancers. They don't want to be tied up with a proper job, and where their passions or other interests are not being explored. 62% of the right talent will be able to get only through sourcing and not through inbound. So when we are going to source, definitely we are going to passively hunt someone. Then whatever we discussed on ourselves, creating awareness on the social media, creating an elevator sales pitch to a candidate, why someone should join us, all those attraction points that we were talking about, marketing strategy, everything is going to play a bigger role here. 60% of job seekers believe it should take less than 2 weeks from the first call to an offer. This is what is all about, that hiring experience uh, matters to someone, because we generally observe that from a day a call is made to a candidate, sometimes it spills over for more than a month for the next particular action to happen. So a candidate is kept waiting if he's been considered, not considered. Sometimes after an interview the feedback gets laid off for a long time. Definitely hiring managers have their own targets and KPIs, but then prioritizing this particular hiring, and if you find a particular candidate suitable, then I think quickly we have to also adapt to what a candidate is evaluating us on. So time to hire matters a lot. 4x talent, consider your company. If there is constructive feedback, effective communication, and yeah, again, that is a lot about the same. Candidate experience matters. 89% virtual people still prefer virtual recruitment process, so this is going to stay for a long more time. And 83% of people are still looking at a remote working option, and not looking for even a hybrid, I guess. So I hope we got to see a little bit of insights here. Some more interesting statistics that I would like to talk about, specifically when it comes to sales. We see that 25% to 30% is the attrition, specifically in sales. So every sales force we speak to is hired and rehired in 3 to 4 years. And a sales ramp up time is about 10 months, which means an average time that we recruit a salesperson and he understands the process, technology, and tries to become fully productive in an average takes about 10 months. So the cost of a bad hire is going to really cost us a big time. um, 78% of candidates outsell their peers through social media. So definitely social media is going to play a bigger role for a candidate as well as a company that is going to hire. So as I mentioned, social media doesn't stop with LinkedIn anymore. There are a lot more social handles that is becoming a trendsetter in hiring. 89% of talent accept a job offer faster when contacted by a recruiter. We keep talking about automation, artificial intelligence, and hiring, but still that personal call to a prospect candidate is going to really create a lot of difference. 70% of the global workforce is composed of passive talent, saying that a lot of opportunities have been created in the last 2 years, where a candidate is able to, when we say candidate, right, certain candidates are available in the market, but when we talk about top talent, a particular niche skill set people, so we know they have gotten a lot of opportunities, and they are quite confident that they will get someone knocking at their place for an opportunity. That is why most of the talent is very passive. What are certain important factors considered while looking for a job change? 49% of candidates consider a job change for compensation benefits. 33% of candidates are looking for a professional development. Uh, in looking for a job change, professional development can be a mix of a career growth, looking at a better brand than what they are currently working for, and looking at a more better team to work with and be successful. 29% of the talent is looking for a change because they are looking for a better work life balance in their life. 36% of women and 29% of men find it critical to consider an offer if there is a flexible work arrangement. And we have personally also seen people not accepting an offer if there is no flexibility of working from remote. So 35% turn down an offer if they are next employer is not giving them a remote work opportunity. It is not that remote work opportunity should become a norm, but then there are other companies in the market which is able to give them a remote opportunity. Then they'll definitely consider that offer and reject this. Okay. So what are certain factors which will help us to reach a right prospect? So since we are speaking about salespeople, as I previously mentioned, a sales deal is not done in one go. So 44% of sales candidates give up in case we don't follow up. It's exceptionally important to follow up on every potential candidate. Salespeople, we know they're always on their targets, KPIs, next demonstrations, negotiations. So it is not that they don't prioritize a requirement, but when we speak to them in a tone where we create interest in them, where we try to create awareness in them, then definitely it is not going to happen in just one call. We have to do a standardized follow up call with the salesperson if we find that he's going to add value to our team. And as mentioned before, this ideal candidate profile is going to create a lot of impact. So a detailed JD with who will be an ideal hire for us can improve our chance of pulling a right talent by 2x times. As mentioned, instead of attracting 80 plus applicants for a role from which again screening is going to take a lot of time, this ideal candidate profile with a lot of filters and screening can help us reach to that 10 prospects from whom we can do a better hire. Also, an interview process matters a lot in reaching a right prospect. So creating a standardized interview guide for a salesperson will actually help us in getting our next hire easier and better. And again, the entire flow of how the hiring experience has been for a candidate with our organization matters a lot. Since we spoke about sales interview, definitely each hiring manager, each of the sales leader here, all of us have our own approaches towards hiring the best for our company. This is just a small observation from our end that I'm going to share with you. So we have a candidate coming for interview. Definitely we make sure the candidate gets prepared for the interview and comes in, and it makes a lot of sense as hiring managers and interviewers. We also prepare for the meeting so that we know what exactly we want from this meeting. So getting prepared for the meeting is going to be a very, very important factor that can help us in analyzing an interview. And as an interviewer or hiring manager, especially to salespeople, it will make a lot of sense when we ask them simple open-ended question. So a salesperson, we have to allow him to talk a lot. So when he speaks more, then and when we listen deeply, we'll get to understand what have been definitely what have been his product or service portfolio, what was the recent achievement that he has done, what was the deal, and in case he has lost the deal, what was the impact of it in his organization? In case he won it, how was the impact? Still, what was the reason for him to look for a change? So a lot of intricate details we will be able to get if we ask the sales people simple open-ended questions and allow them to talk more and we listen deeply so that we can take an informed decision of who will be a right fit for our company. This is just an observation from my end. Any suggestions or queries, please feel free to reach out to me on the chat session, and on the flow, I'll be trying to address each of this. I think Anushka, Ms. Anushka, you've just asked me for some suggestions or tips about an ideal interview process for enterprise sales candidates. Thank you for bringing this question. This is, I've been covering the time to hire that is going to help how a sales manager or a hiring manager should be prepared for the meeting. That is going to help. But exactly if, we want to discuss about the suggestions or tips about how this preparation and meeting and process should go, I'll be happy to catch up with you. Keeping the time in mind for this webinar, definitely we can catch up separately so that we can have a better discussion on this. Okay, just to summarize what we have been discussing, what is the current changing trend in sales hiring? So the first is this is completely a candidate driven market now. This is something that we've been hearing time and again, but why it became candidate driven? The recession fear in the US has slowed down the company driven market. Salary is still on the growing trend. Minimum 30% of hike is expected for a prospect employee to make a change. So no more traditional packages are going to work, but this is just a minimum. But to be very frank, the offer and counter offer that we have been seeing in the last 1 year, specifically for sales roles, have been even 60 to 140%. Is the offer and counter offer that has gone for sales role, so that we can analyze how the offer rejections have been. Diversity is becoming an issue. So as mentioned before, diversity is not about getting only female male counterparts for the team, but having a team with a lot of different sales different competencies and skill sets. So finding and crucially seeing what is the skill set gap in the organization is really going to matter. So technical quotient is going to be key apart from just the target industry knowledge. And all of us are looking to hire an A plus candidate, and hence the candidate's growth trajectory should also be on a higher graph. Candidate relationship management, this is something that we have been talking about from the beginning. A hiring manager is not an interviewer anymore, so the discovery call, the exploratory call, will help a lot in attracting a talent to us, where the role and the organization and the brand can be sold. And why a sales talent should be considering this rule with our organization: continuous communication with a prospect throughout the process and after. So just a small intricate detail here. So any small thing that we are going to do now is going to become social, right? So we have a candidate coming in for an interview. It makes a good impact when we keep him or her informed about the feedbacks, constructive or things, why did it work out, why it did not work out. So we know that the Gen Z and millennials are going to be social savvy, so they can brand us like forest fire quickly. So candidate relationship is going to be a norm. Candidates are looking at an organization for their culture, saying that we all have seen the great resignation that's been happening. Now organizations are looking towards the great reshuffle, saying that employers are reconsidering their values and branding to gain a competitive edge in the market. I hope this gave in certain amount of details to the audience here. Please let me know in the chat session if you have any queries or if you have any more suggestions in this changing trends for us. Okay, so we've seen what are the trends, and again how a candidate is evaluating us to take up job with us. So let us just see how is the job market looking in the next 12 months. This is specifically to India, a survey made by PwC. I've highlighted here that 35% of the employees are again expected to resign in the next 12 months, and the max chunk of them being leaders and managers. So let us see which industry is going to face this. Tech and telecom to record the highest attrition rate, and people who are going to resign are people with the stability of just 1 or 2 years in their current organization. So definitely the COVID impact here, people who have moved during COVID, they are looking to move again. Who again, managers and leaders who are looking for better and happy place to work. And why are they unhappy? Because they are unsure about their current company's future and strategy. Again, the fear of recession globally. And the next unhappiness is coming from the unsatisfied paycheck. Many organizations are still sticking to pre-COVID compensation philosophy, which we just addressed as the traditional philosophy. So this is a big number that we are going to stare at in the next 12 months. So we all have to make ourselves ready on how we are going to hire and retain our employees. If at all you need any suggestions or inputs from us, we'll be happy to address that with you separately from this webinar. And in case you would be interested, Lijo will be capturing the same. You can let us know if you want any suggestions from us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for participation.
Thank you, Lijo. Thank you, all of you, for participating in this poll. Okay, so we just saw that unsatisfied paycheck is going to be one more burning issue. Just to give you a little bit on how is the current salary trend in the market, this is completely from our observation, and this is entirely for sales based roles because that is our expertise. So the different sales levels that we have been hiring are for the lower mid management and senior management B2B sales roles. And in this particular graph, I have tried to cover the mid range roles. And when it comes location wise, we have been observing that Bangalore, being the Silicon Valley, we get a mix of SDR, sales development, business development, account manager roles. And the salary here somewhere goes for an SDR, an average of 15 lakhs. This is all a fixed that we are talking about. For a business development rep, it has gone to about 16 lakhs, and account manager about 18 lakhs. This is our observation from the current hirings that we've been doing in the last 1 year. And exactly in Mumbai, when we see the sales development representative cadres, the average salary is about 13 lakhs. For a business development, it's about 14 lakhs. And again, for an account manager, it's about 18 lakhs. And specifically to Delhi, NCR, SDR cadre and BDR are at an average of 14 and 15 lakhs, and account managers around 17 lakhs, followed by Hyderabad, where we get a mix of IT sales people, 13 and 14 lakh being the average for SDR, BDR, and 16 lakh for the account manager. And when it comes to specific skill sets in the mid-range roles for all these positions, Bangalore, as I've kept mentioning, the Silicon City, we get competencies of all the competencies of an SDR or a BDR or an account manager. In Mumbai, we've seen that the account manager roles are in the mid-range level are pretty up to the mark, almost all the 10 competencies, and SDR and BDR, not, all the competencies can be found here. When it comes to Hyderabad, yes, the competencies of SDRs and BDRs that we hire are up to the mark. But when it comes to hiring account managers in the mid-range, probably Delhi, we are not able to match the requirement. When it comes to Hyderabad, it is a mix of things. SDR, BDR is still, we get a few competencies, but account managers around 9. And when it comes to how's the split, a sales role is always about fixed and a variable take home. The SaaS industry works at a 70-30 split, saying that 70% is going to be the fixed salary, 30% being the variable. This is all for the mid-range role. When it comes to CPaaS industry, it's about 60-40 globally. IT infra sales and data center managed services come under 70-30 for mid-range roles. Cybersecurity works at a 60-40, and any other software technology based industry works at an 80-20. And all these splits we have been observing for the mid-range roles. Definitely, as we go up the ladder for the leadership hiring, definitely the split range will differ. So these are a few salary insights that we were able to capture from our experience. I'll be happy to understand, if this rings a bell with all of us here. And in case we need to discuss on lower and senior management roles, I'll be happy to address this, because keeping the time in mind for this webinar, I will be happy to address this in a different session separately with you. Thank you so much for an active participation from all of you. I hope I was able to address few of the burning needs here, and what are the probable solutions that we can come up with. I'll be very happy to understand if I've missed out on something, and learn from you too, because I considered this as a mutual learning session. In case you want to further interact with me, I'm just giving my email ID here, and definitely we can connect to interact better. Thank you for all of you for being very patient audience for the last 45 plus minutes.